Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to part 2 for the week of January 17th. If you didn't watch part 1, this is part 1 right here. And a link for part 1 is in the pinned comment down below. But we kind of delivered a warning in the first reading to be careful of people who are either very judgmental or who are always criticizing. I feel a very specific situation going on here for you, Pisces, but it actually looks like a pretty good week other than this, whatever this last row is right here, probably a person. With the Eight of Wands, with the with the Strength card, you have the Eight of Wands here, Pisces. And sorry, I've had this cold for 2 weeks. I'm a little bit loopy right now, so I apologize. Doesn't really affect the message. I channel my messages, so people always ask me, doesn't matter if I'm sick or whatever. I actually, as I always tell people, Pisces, I usually feel better after I do readings because it's like I'm channeling from source. I'm not channeling from myself. So this is actually healing for me, not a bad thing. But with the Strength card, you have the Eight of Wands. Watch people's words, for sure. We talked about this in the first reading. Eight of Wands is a card of communication and all this other stuff. Strength card is also a daily practice, as I always say. Strength is something that takes work every single day. If you want to grow your muscles, you have to lift weights, not every single day necessarily, but for the most part, you have to lift consistently. It's something you have to do consistently. I don't care what is necessary. This is not a great situation. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, like I said. But the Strength card says there are things you can do to improve your situation. So do those things every single day. Eight of Wands is quick success or quick conclusions, quick results. I think that I need to do more videos on this. I know I always say this and I apologize, but I've had a crazy year. And what I would say is that I want to do more videos on just showing it's crazy how much I've improved my life over the last 2 years now, 2.5 years, somewhere around there. And again, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because what I did was free. I just literally just focused on doing one thing every single day on improving things. And I also focused on, testing things in not only this business, but other things that I do as well. And, it's just a mindset shift for me. I see you having this mindset shift as well. That's why I'm saying this. Eight of Wands Strength card is working on one improvement every single day. And again, that's all I did is I worked on one improvement every single day in my life. And it's things change significantly, very, very quickly. So I think people don't realize how quickly that really adds up. And that's what the Eight of Wands is talking about. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Cups. I would not listen to other people, Pisces. Seven of Cups is too many ideas, right? Seven of Cups is being spoiled for choice. It's a card of your imagination. He needs to just focus on one cup. Seven of Cups is a lot of fluff. I frequently feel that the Seven of Cups can represent selling yourself short as well. Because Seven of Cups, there are some good things and there are some bad things in these cups. But Seven of Cups says, if you just go for that one cup, you'll accomplish it, whatever it is you want, whatever your goal, wish, or dream is. But all that fluff, all the extra stuff around there could be other people's opinions, other people's worries, fears, doubts, all that other stuff. So I feel you need to just focus on what you want and not everybody else, plain and simple. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Three of Swords, definitely having to draw boundaries, Pisces. Like I said, it's an interesting week. I would definitely watch your health. Again, like I said, I've had this weird cold thing. It's not COVID. People keep asking me. It's not been tested. I'm fine. But it's just a cold. and or allergies. Who the hell knows, right? But what I would say is in the astrology, to me, there's some stuff in the astrology. I would just say watch your health is all I'll say. And I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice, but I would take care of yourself. And again, this is not a fear thing. This is so that you can take care of yourself, so that you can, I would say I would avoid things that, make you sick, or, I would avoid bad food and all that other stuff, especially with this right here and the Nine of Wands. Like I said, I do feel that there is this general heartbreak energy, although this is your past position, this first row here, Pisces. So a lot of you could be moving past this heartbreak. This is probably, I would say, one of the weirder readings I've done for you in a long time. I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing yet. With the Sun, you have the King of Wands. I definitely feel that some of you, it could be a fire sign who kind of messes up your day. So if you have a fire sign in your life, like a Leo, especially with the sun and the strength card, could be any sign, take it how it resonates, then, this might be a person you have to draw some boundaries with. And again, I'm not saying you have to cut anyone out of your life, but if someone is always super negative around you, there's nothing wrong with speaking up and saying, I cannot be around you when you are being negative. If you want to be around me, that's fine, but we're only going to speak of positive things. I really see you getting that kind of, that kind of strength and that kind of empowerment in your life, which we kind of talked about in your first reading. I'm really surprised that the Empress didn't show up here, although you do have that Bull card, kind of Empress energy, right? And I feel like you're kind of drawing these boundaries. I also feel good about that King of Wands. I feel like creation is going to be your best friend. So if you are creating, I don't care what you're creating. It could be, you could be playing with Play-Doh. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I feel like creation is going to be very therapeutic, but also very helpful for you, and especially if you're creating things for money. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Queen of Cups. This is your energy, Pisces. Queen of Cups could be Cancer, but with that Knight of Swords, I was getting a very rushing energy. Queen of Cups says, heal yourself, nurture yourself, take care of yourself, all that other good stuff. She's also very focused on one cup. I always say that on the Queen of Cups, that doesn't even really look like a cup. It looks like a trophy, right? It looks like, it kind of looks more along the lines of a trophy. It doesn't really look like a cup. And so I always say that, to me, she kind of represents keeping your eye on the prize, or needing to keep your eye on the prize, Pisces. So I would keep your eye on the prize. And it's showing up right here in this middle row, and with this Seven of Cups. So like I said, the Seven of Cups can represent being very focused on kind of all these things. But she's only focused on one thing, and she knows she can get it. Also, like I said in the first reading, 2 sevens in the middle row. 7 of Cups, 7 of Swords. With the 9 of Swords, you have the Magician. Your words are going to be extremely powerful at this time, Pisces. Again, this is probably why this reading is kind of warning you and encouraging you to be careful of people who mess up your day. It's like I think some of us are maybe better at not worrying about what people think, but if you are one of those people who does, one of those Pisces who does, I would protect yourself, of course. Magician is manifesting things very quickly. And so I do feel that you are manifesting things very quickly. I also feel like you are changing on a very significant level. He has this snake wrapped around his waist, and the snake wrapped around his waist is the Ouroboros, which of course can represent like a transition, a transformation, or a change. So this is the change that you are going through, Pisces. I would just take care of yourself, like I said. And, I think that, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think that Pisces, it's the hardest for us to change, because we are everyone's emotional sponge, which we shouldn't be, right? We need to learn not to do that. So it's like when a Pisces changes, I think people can have some reactions to that. Let's put it that way. With the 9 of Swords, you have the King of Cups. This is the energy that you need to step into right here, Pisces. He's sitting in choppy waters, but he does not give a an F. Right, Pisces? Look at him. Look at his face. He does not care what is going on around him. He is staying perfectly calm. He is staying perfectly centered. He's not worried about anything. He has great emotional depth, and he has great emotional control over the things that are going on in his life. He really kind of is in control of his emotions. So I feel that for a lot of you, it's like the 9 of Swords could be worrying, but worrying does nothing. It's just, when I say worrying is just mental masturbation, right? It feels good to worry. That's why we do it. But we shouldn't, right? We should be focusing on what we do want, not what we don't want, plain and simple. So I'd say no worrying. I know it's hard, but, I would, even if you could just focus on something for 10 seconds. I don't know. I think Esther Hicks says 19 seconds or 16 seconds, something like that. If you could just focus on something good for that amount of time, then you can get the energy moving in the right direction. Also, divine counterparts here, Pisces, by the way, going in this direction right here, Queen and King of Cups. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where that is going. With the 7 of Swords, you have the Moon card. Good energy, not sure where you're going, right? The Moon card is a card of innovation. It's like you're doing something new. 7 of Swords is doing something tactically. So this Moon is clarifying the 7 of Swords. Intuitively, I kind of feel like this is saying that you're doing something new for some reason, mostly because, again, the Moon, it's your card, but it also represents fears because it represents doing something you've never done before. So I feel for a lot of you, it's like you're doing something you've never done before. We might pull an extra row on that. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Emperor. Again, some of you could be letting go of a fire sign. Ten of Swords, the Emperor, it's like death, a transformation going on between maybe you and another person. It's interesting to me that the Magician is pointing towards the Ten of Swords and the Emperor, the Magician right here. So some of you could be releasing like a Leo, an Aries. You could be just drawing some very strict boundaries with a Leo or an Aries here with this energy. So that's very interesting. I also feel there is a need to take action as well. You have that bull energy, and you also have the second house. Your second house is Aries. And again, yes, I understand. Depending on when you were born, your second house might not be Aries. So again, you have to run your own chart, but it doesn't matter. Aries is Pisces' second house for the most part, for most of you. So what I would say here is that for a lot of you, there is an element of needing to take action. Can we just get some clarity? I just want to ask for some... I just want to ask for some general clarity on the direction here, because it's very unclear. I feel like you feel unclear with the Moon card. You have the Hierophant, spiritual lessons. Some of you could be leaving a marriage as well. The Hierophant is more, for you, I feel like it's more about learning. It's more about mastery. Again, you're getting ready. I said this to you, in your first quarter readings. I think in quarter one, Part 2, Pisces, I was saying something about how you need to make sure you're not dimming your light, right? I think that when we start shining bright, people want to dim our light. They want to say, what, are you better than me, right? Pisces. And you know what I'd say? Yes. Hell yes, I'm better than you, That's what I would say. But what I would say here with the Hierophant is I would be very careful of allowing people to dim your light, and because again, I think it's just going to drag you down. And the Hierophant wants you to ascend, wants you to go up. Next, you have the Page of Pentacles, something new. Like I was saying, I feel like there are new opportunities coming in for you here, Pisces. I feel like there are new opportunities that are going to be making you successful. And so I'd be learning as much as possible as well. Hierophant, education, Page of Pentacles, card of studiousness, and learning as much as you can. And the Magician, you create your own reality, Pisces. So definitely time for you to watch your words. The Magician... I always take the card that he's pointing to. He's pointing to this deck, which you can't see, but it's right here. And this card is the Jaguar. It says release. Clearly, I feel like you are releasing things that no longer serve you, things that are toxic, things that hold you back. So I definitely feel like it is time for you to kind of release something that is maybe kind of holding you back. I don't know why I just pulled this card, but there you go, King of Pentacles. Maybe you're trying to build something permanent in your life. What I wanted to do is I wanted to clarify with this. With the Hierophant and the King of Pentacles, you have the, I guess not, you have the Nine of Wands. It's over there. So Nine of Wands about drawing boundaries, which you have the Nine of Wands already in this reading. I feel like boundaries, or kind of like setting healthy boundaries, will be very important for you. With the Page of Pentacles, something new. I knew it. In this middle row, this is a new beginning right here. Right in this middle row. This could be a new love for some of you, especially if you're leaving a love situation, which it does kind of look like that. Nine of Swords, the Nine of Swords twice, but Three of Swords, Magician to the Emperor. I was getting the words death for some reason. Ten of Swords, Emperor. I was seeing the two cards like this with death in the middle. I'm not suggesting, to me it's against tarot ethics to predict a death. I'm not suggesting that someone in your life is going to die, but I am suggesting that there is that type of transformation, a release, right? With the Magician, you have the Six of Wands, greatness. This is you shining bright, Pisces. I know what this reading is. This is you needing to not worry. It's like, I think the more you shine, the brighter you shine, the more resistance you are going to experience. So what do? Turn it off, right? Just ignore it. It's like, I feel for a lot of you, you're experiencing, glow up type energy, right? Where it's like you are shining brighter than everybody else maybe. But there's a reason for this. It's so that you can be an example, and so that people who also want to shine bright can look up to you. Again, it's like the first thing that happens when you start shining bright is people try to dim your light, right? That's what they try to do. For whatever reason, because it points out things that they're not doing, or it points out areas in their life where they're not successful or whatever. But that's not your problem. And I feel like you need to realize that here, Pisces. Pretty simple reading. Complicated, but simple, right? But anyway, thank you for being here, Pisces. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.